Hi, I'm going to be looking at creative prayer this week. Having run children and youth work for a number of years, I found it really interesting how they can really struggle to pray. They feel it can be very structured, lots of words that they don't understand, and sometimes have very little meaning to them. So we spent time looking at different ways of them being able to pray, using colour, texture, fun, but giving them the ability to understand that prayer is a conversation with God and not something to be apprehensive about. So over the next few minutes, I'm just going to share some different ideas that I have that we use with our young people. So another prayer idea, which I use quite a lot with our young people, is the skittle prayer. It can be the Smartie prayer, jelly tot prayer, really depending on what sweets you've got available. But as long as they've got colours to them, you can use any of them. The idea is that each sweet represents a different thing to pray for. So for instance, a red sweet, you might be praying for a family member. Yellow, you can pray for a teacher at school. Purple, you pray for yourself. And the idea is that we actually work with the young people and they create their own list to pray for. And this is a really great way of getting them thinking slightly differently about how to pray. It's a fun way. They obviously get sweets at the end of it. But it's really a great way for them to concentrate and think about who and what they want to pray for. So a great idea to use if you're trying to find different ways of praying. So another idea I quite often use with young people, which I quite enjoy, is to find an open area of ground. We're very lucky here with the prayer garden, and we just walk. But what we do is we'll walk for a short period of time, and then somebody will find something and we stop, and we find something in that area that we can just stop and focus on. It could be a plant, it could be some trees, it could be a piece of grass, it could be a bug. And the idea is that we spend some time looking at that item, thinking about that item, trying to understand God's creative side when he created all of this, and actually pray for creation. And then we move on and we do the same again. We walk for a bit longer, then we stop, and again we look at something. People can look at different things, it doesn't have to be the same thing, but each time it's trying to find something in nature that you can stop and be still and you can think about. It could be that it actually inspires you to think about something totally different. We quite often find that somebody will find something that suddenly makes them think of a family member, or maybe something to do with the eco church that we do, that sometimes that we don't necessarily just find plants and things, we find bits of rubbish, and actually it helps us to understand what we're doing to the planet. So it's a lovely way of actually being out in nature with God and being able to spend time, especially for those who struggle very much to have their eyes closed and just do traditional prayer. It's a lovely way of finding things to inspire you. Sometimes even the simplest of things can help us to pray. Just closing our eyes and listening and feeling. You can feel the wind on your face. You can feel the sun on your face. You can hear the birds. You can hear the wind in the trees. And sometimes just being able to be still in God's kingdom is a wonderful way for young people and adults as well to actually feel close to God. And actually that really does help sometimes to be able to talk to God and to be able to pray. The hand prayer is another really good technique to use. Each finger is given a thing to pray for. It can be anything that the young person chooses. So we quite often do the thumb. You pray for family and friends. The index finger, you pray for those who teach and guide. The middle finger, you pray for the leaders, whether that's leaders in the church, in the school, even leaders of the governments or countries. The ring finger, you pray for those in need. And the pinky finger, you pray for yourself. This is actually a really lovely way of praying, because you can just look at your fingers and you remember exactly what each one stands for, and you just pray for those people. So this is a group prayer. We use the parachute because of the bright colours. We put little bean bags on, and as you waft the parachute up, the beanbag lands on you and you have to say something you wish to pray for. Another idea is coloured sand, jigsaw pieces, hands, just bright and colourful, but each one contains something that we'd like to pray for. The next thing that we're looking at is something we did with the schools, where each of the fish, the hands, the pictures all had a different depiction of something that they wanted to pray for in different ways, whether it's sorry or thankful. Another way that's really good is using images to look at. A candle is great for watching and thinking about, and actually the pebbles are really good to hold on to and pray while you're thinking about them. A great one that we use is what we call the WWW, which is the World Wide Web. You basically have string, you throw it, you keep hold of it, and you create this web, but every time you catch a piece of the string, you have to pray for somebody. So this is a group prayer. We use the parachute because of the bright colours. We put little bean bags on, and as you waft the parachute up, the beanbag lands on you and you have to say something you wish to pray for. Another idea is coloured sand, jigsaw pieces, hands, just bright and colourful, but each one contains something that we'd like to pray for. The next thing that we're looking at is something we did with the schools, where each of the fish, the hands, the pictures all had a different depiction of something that they wanted to pray for in different ways, whether it's sorry or thankful. Another way that's really good is using images to look at. A candle is great for watching and thinking about, and actually the pebbles are really good to hold on to and pray while you're thinking about them. A great one that we use is what we call the WWW, which is the World Wide Web. You basically have string, you throw it, you keep hold of it, and you create this web, but every time you catch a piece of the string, you have to pray for somebody. So I've discovered over the years that trying different things really can help, whether it's parachute, balls of wool, water, fire, pebbles, whatever works for you. But I think the main thing is prayer is for everyone, whatever it looks like. And you've just got to try and find what works for you.